So I'm now going to glue these down. This glue is so liquidy that you can see it kind of will just go down anyway, and yeah, that works great. So there's that. It's just really spot welding here. Okay. Good, so that's got those. So that's step one. And just do a little bit of applying. Pretty much all the way along, we're going to want this on the seam all the way along here. Both. Slide that back as far as I can there. What I'm going to do is just run along this seam here. All right, we're back on the bottom section now. The tulips had a chance to dry here for the day, so we should be good to kind of get this back into position. You can see all of our adjustments. The tulips nicely kind of sanded down, and we've done the corrections where there were little still remaining gaps. That's all been done. So just working on the top side now to do the kind of thinking about the light blocking issue. So really on this guy, I can already see, even just laying the LED here like that, you can see, I don't know if you can see, hot spots. Oops. There, hopefully you can see that. Anyway, from it's absolutely, clear. So just like on the other ones, to stop that, when you're kind of being able to look down and see the bulb through those little pinholes, what we want to do is similar to what we've done on the bottom side. Just make an adjustment here. Nice. Hey guys, quick update. So I just have made a small adjustment, a little bit of painting here today. I decided I wanted to adjust the hangar bay, the main hangar bay, just slightly. I wanted to make it a little bit lighter color. I've been watching the footage quite a lot, and it does seem that to me that it's just a shade lighter. And in any case, even if it's not, just the lighting in the movie certainly makes it look like it's a little bit lighter than the shade of the outside hull. So I did go just slightly, very slightly. It's just got 25% XF2. That looks awesome. So it's really not really even noticeable actually, but I know that it's a slight. I don't know if you can see any difference there, but it's ever so slightly inside of there. So zoom up there a little bit so you can kind of get a kind of better shot of that. That's when it really pops, is being able to see it in these kind of lighting conditions. Oh, actually, let me zoom up there. Oops. Yeah, so there it is in the pitch dark. You can see it's really lights up well. It's kind of very sort of impressive, I think. Hey everyone, so just working on the or getting started on the battery pack. So I'm just going to be using two AAA 4 cell holders, and I'm just going to hook these up in series so that we'll get a total of 12 volts, which is what I've been kind of using. That's all my different LEDs are all resistored up for that, so that'll kind of give me a pretty good result here, and with with this battery pack, and given the lights that I've got set up, it would last about 13 hours running it solid. I am, as I also mentioned, going to be hooking up this remote as well inside. So this also is a little vampiric. It will run a very small 0.48 or 0.5 milliamps, so not even half of a milliamp here. But over time, of course, that as well will eat up a little bit. But even at that, with this battery pack, even with this running all the time in the background, this would be good for about 2.5 years. Just given that amount of draw against the 10,000 milliamp hours here at that range, it's like I say, it's a lot of days, almost 900 days. So long time, and I'll be having it on more often. So this is not a huge factor for me. So definitely for the convenience of not having to take it apart and not having to have an on-off switch anywhere. That's actually kind of a little piece of it as well. And I want to have it completely self-contained. And so this is a great option for me. So I'll be installing this as well. Big thing here is that I need to connect the two of the leads together to put them in series here. Red and black have to get connected. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually work on that right now. Just fold that around and tape him down like that. There. Good. Okay, just gonna hook up our little remote switch, which has to come directly from the power into here. So that's our next step. Okay. So now next thing is to just test this with just my test light. Make sure still everything is working. Remote. And yep. Lovely. So that's where the battery pack needs to go, because it's kind of constrained where it has to be, and it does work. Now I've been just working the cable management pieces and laying things out and kind of shortening cables, and I'm just coming around now to doing the final power pieces here. This is the power pack. This is the lights. So depending on how we're going to connect, this could be passed down through and connect into a receptacle in power, but this is the one that we're going to use here. Like that. Okay, and then all down like that. Okay, so that's, I think, looking pretty good there. Let's get all that. Let me just make sure. Yep, so that's a good sign. There we go. There we go. That's it. That's it. We have model completely together and lit. Well, let's just turn off the lights here. So that did make a difference. You have to get that. Go figure. You have to follow the instructions. All right. So let's turn off the. There we go. Okay. So let's see here. Oh, that just looks great. Oh, that is something to see, actually. It's really, really nice. Look at that. And no point sources for any of those LEDs. It's all been controlled completely by just our bubble wrap baffling. Don't tell anybody. And then underneath, which I love, my hanger, it's all lit. Has the double 3 SMDs dedicated just to this bay, including the little shuttle hanger there, which is true to A New Hope, which the default model does not come with. And also additional lighting down the sides to make sure it's really well lit up. That's going to look great. And my photo shots, which I'm already looking forward to doing here a lot. Very, very, very awesome. So I need to do a little bit of work on the, well, actually, as it turns out, the entrance just fits absolutely like a glove. I guess I should never question Bandai. I mean, things just work out. Bandai knows what they're doing. But now the final thing that we've really got in front of us is the gap here on the top part. And I've been kind of leaving that to the end. One of the issues I've got, of course, if I just glued it down, I could be done with it. And, you know, I could be finished finished the model in a few minutes here. My only thing is anybody can see any of my other builds, you know, I tend to be I do like to build such that if I do want to be able to get back into it to replace a bulb or that kind of thing, I'd love to do that wherever possible. And so same here. I can get at a lot of the vessel with the fact that this is removable to replace the battery pack, but it would not help me to get to the hanger or to the front part here. We've got a couple bulbs up here. I've got my SMDs here. You know, so there's a bunch of pieces that I would not be able to do anything about if it's glued in place. I'd be committed, and that would be really difficult to take for me if it's not kind of perfect. Now, granted, it's not going to be on that often, and I mean, this should last. It'd probably last a lifetime. And by not securing it with glue, I'll probably guarantee it'll last. What I'm going to do along the edge, or what I'm thinking of doing, is just using some Tesa tape that I've got here. So I'm just going to lay a little. I have some very narrow Tesa tape. I'm just going to go along the top part of this and lay in, especially on the couple of spots where I need it. And this is incredibly powerful tape. It's actually used for holding, well, I've used it for doing iPad repairs and so forth. So it holds the screen onto the metal chassis, and the glass gets held. That's how all your iPads and iPhones are held together with this kind of tape. So it's very strong, but not, not impenetrable. If I did need to open this, it will definitely hold that. But if I ever did need to open it, I could just get out the X-Acto and be able to kind of saw through, kind of up under. I could kind of pull it enough to get and be able to open this up that way. So I'll do the same thing where I just get a length here, but then we'll cut it up here. Okay, to there. So let's see here. There. That's kind of got it there, I think. The Tesa seems to be holding beautiful. That's nice and tight all the way along there. It's just awesome. Just awesome. So far, that part has worked really good. Let's grab this part and just see how this is going to go here. I want this here because there's actually a little opening, actually. So best possible spot for this remote is up here. Okay, now let's see here. Yeah. Okay, that's lovely. That's perfect. Beautiful. And holding, at least so far, so good. Let's just turn the lights on here. Yeah, right here. So you do it right on this spot, which is right where our remote is, and it works like a charm. So let's turn that on. Let's hit the lights here for a sec. There we go. Yeah, it's looking great. Unaided, completely down, also at the back. And on this side, yeah, looks really good. No gap there at all. I've already been taking some pictures. I'm excited to take them now, especially now that my seams, you can see the trench there now, working perfect. There's no light coming out at all. It just looks the way it should look. So really excited to get some pictures, some additional pictures now. I was always kind of having to fight that. So I'm just going to go ahead and mass produce a few of my little engine flaps or thruster flaps of some sort. And what we found, as I think I already mentioned, is that it works pretty good, but it needs to be a little thinner and a little wider. So, so based on that, I'm just gonna produce one here, and so a little thinner. I'm thinking kind of this thickness, like that, and then a little wider. So that's where that was, but it needs to be wider than that, so I'm thinking like about there. Okay. So that's kind of the current thinking here. Oops. Yeah, that looks like that's going to be better, kind of more what I want. Put it on. It just definitely looked too short, too not long enough, and a little too thick. So I think I've got it just right. All right. Let's just make sure yeah, it looks perfect. So what we want to do, start producing some replicants here. Right, and then the other thing that we found was that they were a little too long. I need this to be just slightly shorter. They're not in the model kit, but they're certainly on the Devastator, and so I am interested in adding them just to have that look a little bit more like that. Yeah, so this is just a fiddly patience kind of thing. I'm using a pretty aggressive glue just so that it's kind of quick setting. It's a little bit headache because you get a lot of the little strands. It's just testers from my childhood. Old but reliable, this stuff. All right, and it's you know, just kind of has a nice way to still, you know, it's kind of like it's strong. It's quick glue, but it you have a little bit of working time, so that's kind of nice. It's perfect for this kind of thing where you're kind of crafting. So, in case you're interested, I did end up taking the little thruster bell baffles off when I just was comparing it against the New Hope reference just really carefully, it's still just, they just appeared a little too big. I thought I had them right, but they just needed to be adjusted. So they all came off, and I actually went through every single one. So there's one of the old ones, and had to get out my magnifying, I have a magnifying headset, and my 64th inch. I actually need 128s, down to the 128s to cut these, and now have them all readjusted. They're thinner now. The thickness is 7 128s, or 3.5 64ths on this guy, wide, and then the full width. So I also had to take some off the stock. They were a little too long out as well, so those got adjusted, and that's 7 64ths, sort of wide. Yeah, so just in case, I'm sure nobody's really interested, but there you go. That's the small adjustment that's been made. I also did do a couple of other little tweaks on each one as I did them. I went through as well and shaved down the, try and zoom in there, the profile of the little piping that comes up and attaches. It did just get cut off even, but then when you had it attached, I could actually see the ends of the round. So what I did was, you probably can't see that, but anyway, it's just adjusted so that each one has been kind of at a pretty steep angle there, only about a 30-degree angle, sort of from the outside is the vertex, and so it's pretty slim. So that now when it's on there, I actually did put one on just to see, and it looks really great because of that adjustment. I also just shaved a little bit off each of the legs, on the inside of each leg, just a smidgen, like really hardly anything. I don't know what that would be, like not even 128s. Well, maybe 128s. Also came off. So that's that was done, and then each of the legs were adjusted to exactly 7 64ths. So I'm just going through, changing up the tape just slightly. As it turns out, I happen to notice, is that there's actually markings on the back of the funnels, and they actually do align. So based on my little template that I came up with, I'd have originally done it in, and thankfully I kind of realized that I noticed on one of them that there was like a little marking when I was looking straight at it. It turns out it's not a marking, and if you actually kind of look here, I'll show you on this one, you can see that it's actually, if you look down the cone there, it's a line on the back side there. And if you look around, they're all there, including at the third marks. As it turns out, see, there's one there. So, oops, that one. So if you're ever doing this, you don't need to worry about the coming up with thirds and all of that. You can use the top one, and then the second, the equidistant, just skip one in between, and you'll get your thirds there. So that's just a little trick. So what I'm doing now is just going through and just redoing them. So I'm back to going to be reinstalling my the new and improved little thruster baffle pieces here. I'm just going to go in like this, and same thing as before, just kind of going to hit that outside lip like that. Kind of hold it in place there until we get a little bit of contact, which is there. Okay, and then I'm going to just adjust it slightly here. And there. More like that. So that looks really, really good. And so now it's the right dimension, because if you actually look on New Hope there, it's, a little bit, they're a little bit smaller. They're not as big as what I'd originally had. Certainly not the first version or the second version. This one is, as far as I can tell, dimensionally kind of getting us the right place here, I think. I'm just looking at the reference again here and just comparing it to what we see on screen there. It should move over a little, though I don't quite got it centered. there are quite a few little things to keep an eye on as this is setting. You do have a bit of time, which you've noticed with the testers, which is sure handy. But you want to make sure that you're there. It's nicely centered. Okay, so that's number 1. So now we just have to kind of repeat that 8 more times. That nicely centered, nice compared to the other ones. Good. So we have thruster engine baffles in place. So the very last thing that I've been just doing is there were still a couple of little seam spots where I didn't have perfect seals, and that's because I didn't really glue anything. If you recall, none of this back was glued. None of this was attached, other than with the Tesa tape on the very top. And the Tesa tape was holding fine, other than just in this one little area. And in this corner, it wasn't the Tesa tape that was the problem. It was just a little bit of a gap, kind of a little deeper in. Sorry, not seeing that. So anyway, so I've been busy just fixing up, doing a lot of light, last bit of light blocking all the way around. I have a little bit more to do here. You can see actually just see. Actually, let me just turn the light off for a sec here. If you look just down here, you can see there is still some light coming out that shouldn't be. It should be blocked off like that. That's an unfortunate. I actually made a mistake there when I was applying the tulip along there. I kind of there is an opening there. I don't quite know why. There is an opening in that spot. Anyway, I'm fairly certain it's not supposed to be like that. Although there is a gap there, which is why it didn't get tulipped in that one little spot. What I'm going to do here is just reach in there and just get a little bit of my CA glue, just a couple of dots in there. I'll be able to just go along that seam and just hold it. That'll be more than enough to be able to just get us a little bit of a seal there. Again, on that bottom part, I don't mind. It's all tulipped and glued anyway. This little area was just a weird anomaly that I should have looked more closely as I was working on it. I just kind of, it looked like an opening, looked like it was supposed to be like that, and so I didn't really dig into it too deeply. Yeah, anyway, the rest of this is really shaping up and looking awesome. We're just about got every little bit of light leak taken care of here, which will be great when we get there. That's it just helps. It just really, I think, really makes the model just all the more spectacular when it's perfectly lit and there's no sort of weird little gaps or anything like that. So this is my final little bit here, and then I'm going to take the final videos, and this is almost a done model, and it's turned out really great. I really had a lot of fun getting into deep space here in a galaxy far away, and getting some shots of Darth Vader's Devastator chasing after our blockade runner with Princess Leia on board. So just a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy it. If you did kind of like this build and really want to kind of support what I'm doing, for sure, I'd love for you to leave comments below, like it, and even subscribe. Thanks so much.